I go out of the way to see you. I ain't playing no games, I need you.
You're listening to WRPR Mawa.
Now that's a face for radio.
90.3 Ramapo Radio, WRPR Mawa.
Ramapo! Are you sick of DJs who get paid to get songs played off a set list that exists in the money-filled fists of the fat cat? That's old hat. You don't need that. Let's bring back the good tracks with the real cats who you knew you, and blew you away with the way they could say what they wanted to say every day. Let's bring back the good old days when cruising with the tunes in the afternoons was in, and human beings were human beings who loved the simple things, not being rough, tough, or rich enough to buy all that stuff. When people drove with their windows open and listened to music and had good times rolling, and they loved singing with the radio. Singing with the radio. Let's bring that back. Ramapo 90.3 on the FM dial. While streaming online, you'll find WRPR is by the people for the people. And let's bring back singing with the radio. Singing with the radio.
Allow me to reintroduce myself. My name is Ho. H to the OV.
Hello, fans of all ages. We are indeed the Beasts of the East. Ryan Mork and Scott Thompson here with you on this Wednesday, December 16th, 2015. The last show for the semester for me and you, Scott.
I might cry. A
Don't
little
do
bit.
it.
I might cry a little bit.
All right.
At the end. We got a packed house again.
We do have the packed house. Peace of the East, WRPR 90.3 FM. We're here with Brandon Kurtzman, George Hunkley, and Mike Danino. And we also have three, not one, not two, three special guests here for all of my Old Bridge followers. The Savaro family is here. Tommy
Give him the applause.
Tommy,
Give him the applause.
Okay, wait, hold on. Which one is it? There you go. Tommy Savaro, the man of the house to my right. TJ Savaro across from me. Chris Savaro all the way in the back. Chris Savaro's going to have limited radio time today. Limited radio time.
Why is that?
Listen to his voice.
Yo, what's up?
That's why. All right. Are we starting with the Giants or the Jets? Let's start with the Giants. Coming off of a big Monday Night Football win against the Dolphins. They are tied, quote unquote, for first place in the division. And the thing is, they still need a lot of help. They had a very good win. Now they're going up against Carolina. Preview of Carolina before we get into a review of the Monday Night Football game. If a team is going to beat Carolina in the regular season, I think the Giants are going to be the team to do it. We have said time and time again, Scott, that the Giants are a bad football team, especially defensively. But as bad as they might be, you know the stats, they'd be 11-2 if games ended 2 minutes earlier, all that nonsense. Yeah. But as bad as they are in crunch time, except with the exception of Monday, as bad as they are still a very dangerous football team.
Look at what happened in the New Orleans game with the Panthers. Drew Brees threw all over New Orleans, but because they don't have a defense, that's why Cam Newton just got to pick everyone apart. And I think that the Giants, who are a top 5 offense, I think you can definitely agree with that. Top 10, maybe
top
not
7
maybe
statistically.
Not top 7. Okay,
well,
so
seventh.
If you look at a team like that, in Drew Brees and how he picked apart that offense, there's no way that Eli shouldn't be able to do that, especially with Odell Beckham playing on all cylinders right now.
Here, some stats that I pulled. I felt like doing some research today. Giants had the 7th highest scoring offense in the NFL. The 6 teams in front of them are the Panthers, the Cardinals, the Patriots, the Bengals, the Steelers, and the Seahawks. Those 6 teams combined are 61-17.
Yeah.
However, the Giants let up 418.6 yards per game. That's the worst in the NFL. They also give up 24.6 points per game. That's 20th in the NFL.
Carolina's averaging about 32 a game, I believe.
Yes. Something like, I think they average about 31. The 12 teams below them, though, for points per game, are combined 56 for 100. So that goes to show you how valuable that offense is. Eli Manning, probably a Hall of Famer. Odell, as of right now, on his way. Yeah. That shows you how, and again, you know the stats, 11-2 within the 2 minutes, blah, blah, blah. That shows you how valuable this offense is. So do you see the Giants' offense pulling out a victory?
Pulling out a victory on their end, yes. I think that they
even against Carolina D.
Yeah. I mean, look. I mean, Drew Brees took Marquise Colston, Benjamin Watson, and that crew and ripped apart that offense for over 6 touchdowns.
Right.
I don't see why Eli Manning can't do that.
Well, Eli had a great game on Monday, 27 for 31. He had 337 yards, a lot of them, 84 of them, thanks to the long touchdown by Odell. But Eli has been he's been on the rough patch in the last couple of days, in the last couple of weeks, I should say. And he really wants to win.
It's not. It's not his fault, though.
It's not.
You can't blame
It's
him.
not. I mean, we know their defense is terrible, but Eli. I mean, we've said it time and time again. This might be Coughlin's last year, especially if they don't make the playoffs. He's fired.
No.
Eli wants to play for Coughlin because Eli has only been coached by one guy, and that's Tom Coughlin. And Eli doesn't want to see Coughlin go. Eli wants to win. Eli is the only player because Zach Diassi's injured right now. And now they just re-signed Barry Cofield, so Eli is now one of 2 players from the 2007 Super Bowl team. Eli wants to get that ring. They know that they can win the division. Because the last 3 years, weeks 15, 16, and 17, and some have pretty much been meaningless for the Giants. This is the first time this is the first time since that Super Bowl run where these last 3 games are meaningful for the Giants.
See, what Scott was saying before about the Saints and how they were able to throw all over the Panthers and everything, but see, I don't think the Giants' offense matches up with Carolina's defense because the Saints run the ball. Right. The Giants can't run the ball.
That's what I was going to go into next. Yeah.
They cannot run the ball. Rashad Jennings was just complaining that he doesn't get touches, and then Coughlin fired back and said, "Well, why would I give you touches if you can't produce?"
Right.
And it's not like the running game is just magically going to start, get going against the Panthers, who's best defense in the NFL. Them or the Broncos.
There's one way to beat the Panthers if you're the Giants, and that's throw the ball.
But
look for Shane Vereen.
That too.
Shane Vereen, look for a lot of dump offs to Shane Vereen if they're going to try to look deep because Odell just obviously we saw his routes. He's insane, and Ruben Randall's also getting yards after a catch. He deserves an applause button for that.
applause button.
I mean, that's the baby one. That's our baby one.
That's probably going to be Giants on.
But I'm saying just.
There we go.
Gotta look for Shane Vereen for possible screens. I mean, if they can't run the ball, I don't understand why that guy shouldn't be out there 2nd down, 3rd down. Because if they're just gonna throw, you gotta have a guy there that can check up if Eli's gonna get pressured.
See, I like what he just said about Vereen. I like that because how you think Odell is gonna do against Josh Norman?
I think.
See how you think that's gonna work out?
I wouldn't say dust, but he'll beat Josh Norman.
Like, give me a stat line. Predict the stat line for him.
I'll give you a pretty good stat line.
I'll say under 100 yards, unless if he breaks one loose, and a touchdown.
All right. Julio Jones went 7 for 87 against Norman with Matt Ryan playing quarterback, and we both know how much you hate Matt Ryan.
Matt Ryan's a joke.
Matt Ryan is not better than Eli Manning. Eli Manning is way better than Matt Ryan. Okay. So I think if they give him the amount of targets that Odell Beckham should see in a game, which I think has to be 10.
At least.
All right. People say you can't just force feed because.
See, I disagree.
Double him. Unless if receivers involved, because then it just becomes a one-dimensional offense.
To a point, yes, but how many times have the game against the Jets? Odell made an awesome one-handed grab, and then he didn't get targeted for the rest of the drive, and then the interception. We joke about this all the time. Odell made a gross catch during that drive, and then who did they target on that 4th and goal? Jerome Cunningham.
But he was under pressure when they threw the. The first read wasn't there. If you watch the play, the first read wasn't there, and he got pressure, and he had to just throw it because it was
okay. But if you're going to just throw it, why throw to Jerome Cunningham and not Odell one-on-one?
All right, if the first read wasn't there, all right. When you're a quarterback, I mean, obviously I don't know from experience, but if you're a football quarterback. Yeah, all right, I'm a football quarterback. If I'm looking for Mike on the first read and that read isn't there, then my mind is like, okay, now where would everyone else be? And you have to think about it very quickly. Now, Eli Manning's obviously better than me, but like, you need to think like it's when a quarterback tries to read a defense, if they read it wrong and then they get the ball and the guys didn't move where they're supposed to move, then you have to think about everything really quickly.
I'm not gonna say he wasn't pressured into.
If the first read wasn't there and then he just had to throw the ball because he was under pressure, you can't really blame the guy. Yeah. And it was 4th down, so he had to throw the ball. Yeah, it was picked off, but
Don't play call anyway.
Prediction for Odell. I'm going to say 7 for 110 and a touchdown on Norman.
That's I was probably going to go for something like that.
That's solid. 6 straight games with 100 yards. By the way, okay. This leads. Hold on, you say something.
You're going to talk about Des Bryant. Is that what you were bringing up? The Des Bryant stat?
I wasn't going to.
Oh, we were talking on the way up here. The Odell Beckham's got out of the 25 NFL game he's played, he's got 15 games over 100 yards, and Des Bryant's played 83 NFL games and has 15.
Yeah.
For all the Cowboys fans out there,
crazy.
He got 83. But that goes to show you, do they force feed Odell? No, we complain about that every week. They should go to Odell more than they do. And same thing with. No, I'm saying Odell doesn't get force fed either.
But this is the thing. You can't.
The Cowboys spread out their offense a lot.
Des Bryant definitely is not being force fed.
They had Witten. They had Dwayne Harris. They had Terrence Williams. Cole Beasley when he used to be good. Look at how many. I mean, do I think Odell is better than Des Bryant? Yes, but that stat is a little skewed.
You think the Cowboys supporting cast is better than the Giants supporting cast?
Absolutely. Right now. Yes.
I'll take Terrence Williams over Ruben Randle.
Ruben Randle is there too. Ruben Randle can't be there.
That's a toss up to me. I don't think Terrence Williams is nothing. Yeah,
I don't think
he's anything special.
It's not a no contest type of thing, but I would say yes. Am I the only one here who thinks that Odell Beckham Jr. is the best receiver in the league?
Yes. Yeah, you're the only one. Right now, even me too. It's Antonio Brown. But back to the supporting cast of the Cowboys though, offensive line and running game is also part of the supporting cast, and the Dallas Cowboys have the best offensive line in the NFL, and they have a very good running game. So that plays into supporting cast. But yeah, Terrence Williams, Ruben Randle, same. Cole Beasley, way better than Dwayne Harris, you'd think. So definitely the Cowboys.
Beasley better than Dwayne Harris.
No.
Yeah.
Dwayne Harris at least produces on special teams. Cole Beasley gets 2 catches a game for 20 yards. What good
Cole
does that
Beasley,
do?
I would take a third down. If you watch the Cowboys play, Cole Beasley, those crossing routes all day.
Beasley's got better hands than Harris. I scream at the TV. I'm one of those guys that screams at the TV when I watch the game.
Yeah, you're like my dad.
I still say Harris is playing for Dallas.
He always says Harris every time.
The guy's still playing for Dallas.
Dwayne Harris, with the exception of a couple. His mind on punt returns is gone, but on kickoffs he's unbelievable. By the way, you know who you sound like on the radio? Joe Beningo.
Oh, we were just listening to him on the way up here.
Spot on. That was spot on. All right, bro. I want to go back to Odell. One of you guys try to convince me that he's not the best, and then actually, hold on. I'll go first. I think by hands strictly. Odell has the best hands in the league. Hands. Not like ball catching ability. By hands, the best. Route running, I think he has the best route running in the league. The only thing that Antonio can beat Odell with, speed, I don't know each of their 40 times off the top of my head. I think Antonio's is actually like a drop slower. But what Antonio does better than Odell is that Odell will beat you with his speed in the open field. Antonio will make moves in the open field, and that's the one thing that Antonio has on Odell, but I think Odell has more on Antonio.
This is the thing, though. You're talking about speed. Antonio Brown probably is half a step behind Odell Beckham.
Right. It's not
now,
it's not very comparable.
Because Antonio Brown has that shiftiness and that crafty ability to get around people and to make people miss, along with that speed of being half a step behind Odell, who I think is, like you said, probably one of the fastest receivers in the league. That's why I think Antonio Brown is a better receiver than him.
Because he can get around guys with the ball, that makes sense. He can. Like I know Antonio can get around.
But what I'll give to you though is Odell, and a lot of people don't look at it. People look at physical attributes. I trust Odell more than any person in the league in the fourth quarter with 1 minute and 30 left to make a catch in 4th and 10. That's the one reason why you could say Odell's the best, because I would trust him to even go deep for a 60-yard bomb on 4th and 10.
Right.
Because he's that reliable.
Odell Beckham Jr. best hands NFL.
Yes.
But it's not like he does drop the ball. It's not like it's not a guarantee. And so I saw you were arguing with someone on Twitter the other day about someone brought up.
It was Julio and
it was the catch percentage, right? Odell had like 60% catch percentage.
Julio had
Julio had 65. That's analytic stats. That's
I think that's a pretty good stat though. Yeah, but that's why I say like hands wise, no one can catch a ball with his. Like a lot of receivers use their body to catch the ball. Odell uses his hands.
And that's why I trust him more.
Right.
That's why I completely trust him more.
See, I like Antonio Brown better because yards after the catch, like the ability to make people miss in the open field, that's Antonio Brown's best in the NFL in terms of being a wide receiver. But Odell Beckham, he's one of my favorite players. Even as a Jets fan, he's one of my favorite players in the league. And last year I was saying this guy's the best receiver ever, and that's I like to overreact, but
what you call gas.
Yeah, I like to gas, but I really do like Odell, and I think that I don't think he's there yet because he's only played 25
Small
games.
sample size.
He's only played 25 games, but I'm not even the sample size. I think he has a lot of room to grow as a receiver. And I think Antonio Brown also plays with Ben Roethlisberger.
Right.
You watch the Steelers play. Ben Roethlisberger, he's throwing for 300 yards in the first half.
Right.
This man, he airs the ball out like it's nothing. That's his favorite thing to do. Throw a deep ball. He extends the play. At this point in their careers, Ben Roethlisberger to me is a lot better than Eli Manning.
I just hate how SportsCenter and their Instagram and their Twitter was loaded with Odell.
Of course,
he has this record, he has that record, and so many people were saying Eli has no one to throw the ball to. All he does is throw to Odell. That's not true. Odell has 85 catches, which leads the Giants, obviously.
He has 85 catches?
85.
Brandon Marshall has 89.
This is exactly where I'm going. Ruben Randall has 47. Between the 1 and the 2 receiver, especially with that difference of skill, that's not much of a difference. And then these people say Antonio Brown is the best receiver. Look at his numbers. You look at the Steelers' numbers, okay? Antonio has 100 catches. The second on the team is Heath Miller with 43. Granted, Martavis Bryant was suspended for the first 4 games. I think he averages just under 5 catches.
Martavis Bryant's a stud.
He is a stud. He averages about 4.75 catches a game or something like that. So let's say he didn't get suspended. He has the same average. He's at about 60. So 160. And people say, oh, Eli only throws to Odell. That's not true. The Giants spread the offense so much. They throw it to Ty. They throw it to Jennings, Vereen, Randall, this, that. They throw it to everybody.
You said Will Ty?
Yeah. They throw it away.
No, I get what you're saying, 100%. And who's better? And listen, I'm a diehard Giants fan, but but I don't think Odell's best receiver in the league. I think Antonio. I've been saying this every week. I think it's Antonio Brown, and then I even think Julio, and then Odell. And you talk about the route running, and we've seen those. We saw a play on Monday night. That slant and go.
Yeah.
Crazy.
It was deja vu against the Rams.
Yeah, against the Rams. But I think that if Antonio Brown runs that same route, the guy also cuts, and he's also gone.
I'm not saying
think it's the same thing.
Antonio could
so I
do
don't
the same
think
thing.
I don't think the route. I don't think you can really say who's a better route unless you watch every single route they've run. Because you're really mainly making your point off of 2 routes, which are phenomenal routes.
I've seen Antonio and Odell because when I don't watch the Giants or Odell, I'm watching Antonio Brown because I have him in 2 of my biggest fantasy leagues, and he's one of the most exciting players. I watch Antonio Brown. You were saying you don't watch Antonio.
I don't know how you could watch Antonio Brown and not think he's the best. We took him first overall in our fantasy draft in our biggest league, and the guy all he does is produce. And he has 100 catches right now on the dot, right?
On the dot
100. And Ben Roethlisberger's been injured this year.
Right.
If there's games where Antonio Brown had 3 catches. If Ben Roethlisberger's playing in those games, this man's got 115 receptions on the year.
But isn't that a discredit to him? Why is he bad without a quarterback?
Well,
how many times do we see backup quarterbacks throw to the second best or third best receivers?
Yeah,
all
that's
the time.
So common.
Every time. You can't.
Arguments that I practice with.
Yep.
My biggest argument because I think Ben Roethlisberger makes him so much better, the way he continues plays, and then Antonio Brown gets open, and that's how he makes guys miss. Straight off the line, I'd rather have Odell, and I want to be the third party because I think Julio Jones is the best receiver in the NFL. He can do everything that Odell Beckham can, and he's 5 inches taller than him.
That's a good argument. His height is the only argument that you have to make.
I wouldn't say that Julio Jones isn't the best receiver in the NFL. I would say that Odell is not because I put Julio and I put Antonio Brown above them. We asked, who do we ask on that one night on Twitter? We asked Ryan Clark. No, Ryan Clark. Ryan Clark. He responded to one of us that was in my living room. We were just arguing like usual.
Of course.
And
the Savara family.
Yeah, we were just arguing in the living room while we were watching games. So we tweeted to Ryan Clark and we asked him, who you think the best receiver in the NFL is, because we were having the same type of argument between Julio and Antonio Brown, and he said it's 1A, 1B. So that's from an NFL player.
I just think that Odell has the 7th most targets in the NFL. I think he's behind Brown, Julio, maybe Marshall, Hopkins. He's behind a lot of guys that people say Odell is better than. If Odell had as many targets as Antonio and Julio, he would have more catches, he would have more yards. So my thing is, are his lack, quote-unquote, of targets a reason why people don't say that? Because if he had more targets, his total numbers would be greater. Or does that not change your mind?
Well, Ryan Flintstone listening to the show right now just sent me the list of the receiving numbers for this year.
Oh, he sends me that every week.
Yeah, I know. Odell only has 7 less targets than Antonio Brown.
Oh, it's that.
Yeah, it's 149 to 142. But Julio Jones has 27 more targets than Odell Beckham.
Julio has 109 catches.
109 catches on 169 targets.
That's beating Antonio.
He has 109.
Yeah, he has 9 more than Antonio Brown.
Yeah.
He's the offense. Like, Freeman hasn't done anything in a while. Roddy White's old. And then I think Odell, more than you think, relies on a deep pass every game. He gets a deep play almost every game.
Not a deep play, he breaks one.
Just that's what I mean. Or breaks one.
Like, he doesn't get the deep ball.
But a 50-yard plus play every game.
But his burst of acceleration... Like he has
against the Jets. Against the Jets was something else.
He has 1 yard of separation on receiver, and if Eli places that well, it's a touchdown.
Brandon brought up that play he had against the Jets. I was sitting in the end zone where he ran it. Where he ran toward. I could have sworn that the two safeties would have just tackled him, and just that one step, boom, and he's gone. And he was absolutely toasting everybody.
And the thing is, though, I think Antonio Brown would do that. But I don't know if Julio Jones has that kind of burst.
No, I don't.
Do you think he does? Because I don't think
Antonio's 40 time.
Because
what's funny is Antonio's 40 time is the fastest out of those three. But his quickness is slow.
Your 40 time is different than your football speed.
Right.
I didn't watch Jerry Rice, but my father tells me all the time, Jerry Rice, his 40 time not so great, but this man, he gets the ball in the open field, he's gone. You're not catching him.
There's a difference between speed and quickness. Yeah. There's a huge difference.
I don't think Julio breaks that.
No, I don't.
He doesn't. Antonio Brown maybe probably does.
Yeah. Odell might be the best one-step receiver in the NFL. You don't hear that phrase
I think he's the best off the line. I think Odell Beckham Jr. is the best off the line.
It's also because of in-game situations too. You can't look at combine 40s. When Odell sees a seam, that adrenaline kicks in. He's like, I want to get through this seam so I can run.
Odell's like Syndergaard.
It's completely different when you're in that zone. You get that ball and you see that little tiny. That little tiny seam that you can hit, and he's just gone.
Let's get back into the Giants as a whole and their playoff hopes. They play Carolina. The playoff predictor is the best website.
George,
Ryan loves the playoff predictor.
George, that was your best.
Oh, by the way,
addition.
I just saw something. Julio Jones only went 4 for 33 on Norman. Like, just when he was one-on-one with Norman. He went 7 for 87 for the game. But, like, here's some of the top receivers against Norman. Hopkins, 2 for 24 on Norman. Vincent Jackson, 2 for 31. T.Y. Hilton, 1 for 15. Dez, 1 for 6. Julio did the best. It was 4 for 33.
Right. I think that's the most surprising, though.
What?
That he locked up Julio.
Yeah.
I expect, because Dez is never close.
Dez is just... And honestly, Dez just isn't as... I don't think he's as good as people think, to be honest.
All right. Here are the Giants' playoff hopes. Assuming they're losing to Carolina, if you are a Giant fan, you are a huge Eagle fan in Week 16.
That's against Washington?
That's against Washington. Because the Giants can afford Philly to win because the Giants play Philly.
The last game of the season, right?
Right.
Okay.
The Giants don't play Washington anymore. So the Giants cannot afford...
You need the Cardinals to beat them this week.
Right.
The Cardinals to beat
should happen.
The Eagles? Yeah.
If the Giants lose this week... If the Giants lose, Philly wins, and Washington loses. If Philly beats the Cardinals, I don't think that'll happen. But if it does, the Giants will need a win and the Skins to beat the Eagles to stay alive. If Philly loses and the Skins win, then the Giants... Then the Giants are... No, if Philly loses to the Cardinals and the Skins beat Buffalo this week, then the Giants are rooting for the Eagles. If the Vikings beat the Giants... and Philly beats the Skins, then you're rooting for the Cowboys against the Redskins.
Yeah,
Because if the Giants beat if that whole situation happens,
are the Giants at Minnesota?
The Giants are at Minnesota.
That's a tough game
on Sunday night. Who's stopping Adrian Peterson?
The Giants defense is terrible. The Jets. See, I'm a Jets fan. My father's a Giants fan.
The Giants haven't been that bad against the run, though. They haven't been that bad.
They're not the Cleveland Browns against the run.
They haven't been terrible against the run. And also, if the Giants lose and both the Redskins and Eagles win this week, the Giants are officially eliminated from playoff contention.
Wait, what happens?
If the Giants lose and both the Redskins and Eagles win, they are both the Giants are eliminated from the playoffs.
Washington plays Buffalo this week, right?
I did the math.
Yes.
Because watch, I'll do it right now. Redskins, Eagles, and then Panthers. Okay, so the Giants would be 6 and 8. Giants would be 6 and 8.
They would both be 7 and 7.
And they would be 7 and 7.
And then one of them would have to move to 8 and 7 the following week.
One of them moves
to. But if they tie though.
If they tie,
get that out of here. You tie.
If they tie, I think a tie would be
against the Giants. They have a weaker division record.
Yeah, division record, it wouldn't matter.
Right. So basically, a tie is the same thing as a win in this case, right?
Realistically, no one in the NFC East is going to run the table. No one's going to run the table in the NFC East. So, Giants' best bet is to win 2 out of 3 with them having to win the Eagle game.
Yeah.
So I think that's the best way to go.
Yeah, so we have to win a game that we're not expected to win.
One of their wins
against Minnesota.
One of their wins has to be against the Eagles.
Yeah, so then we have to beat one of the teams that we're not supposed to beat.
Yeah, I think the Giants can clinch if they lose to Philly if they win both of these games.
But they're not winning both these games. You know the Giants just as well as I do. If they somehow won this week, they wouldn't win the following week.
The Giants have to beat Philly. They have to.
I think our best bet though is lose this week. What I think needs to happen is
never mind. The Giants can.
We lose this week.
One of our next 2.
Yeah, we got to take one next 2 and then beat the Eagles. That's what has to happen.
The only way the Giants can make the playoffs is if one of the wins has to come against Philly.
Yeah. You see them beating the Vikings though?
They could.
Yes. They could. They can beat anybody.
They
can beat anybody.
They haven't won a national TV game this year, Minnesota.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I didn't know that Minnesota.
I
didn't know that.
But the thing is, like,
I don't know if I'll check that source.
You look at the records and you say like, there's no way the Giants are going to beat the Panthers. There's no way going to beat the Vikings. But if you know the Giants, they have the 7th best scoring offense in the league. The Giants can beat anybody. They almost beat the Patriots.
Their offense can play with anybody. That's what I'll say. Their offense they can play with.
Their offense
beating. But you've seen this season, it's a repeating pattern that they mismanage games in the fourth quarter and they blow leads and they blow games. I don't see them beating Carolina. I think they would have a shot against Minnesota because Teddy Bridgewater plays quarterback for Minnesota. And even the last game of the season against the Eagles, I think that's a tough game for them as well. The Eagles have been playing a lot better lately.
But it's still Sam Bradford.
Yeah, it is still Sam Bradford
being Sam Bradford, and you just know he can never close a game.
I'm actually really scared about this week. Like, the Giants can officially be eliminated because of how the schedule works.
Okay, you have to think that Carson Palmer and the Cardinals are going to roll over the Eagles.
Yeah. You would hope, but the Eagles also beat the Patriots.
They did. You know why?
I mean, the Patriots
special teams. I mean,
listen,
exactly.
Since DeMarco Murray had his little chat with the owner or whatever, and Darren Sproles, the most explosive player in the NFL, has stepped in. Darren Sproles, to me, he's not the biggest mismatch, but he's the most underrated mismatch in the NFL.
Yeah,
this guy in San Diego, this guy in New Orleans, linebackers can't cover him. He's a mismatch everywhere. Now
that's why he should be starting in this offense.
Chip Kelly is supposed to be some offensive genius. He's got one of the most explosive players in the NFL on his team, also on my fantasy team. Heard of me?
It's the money thing. They're not going to bench DeMarco Murray because he gets paid too much.
Yeah, they did. They benched him. He had like 40 yards rushing this week.
So did Sproles. Sproles should be the straight up starter. He fits the system the best.
I think that Darren Sproles will never start, but if DeMarco Murray has 5 carries and he's getting 4 or 5 yards, if he's averaging a yard a carry, then they will boot him. They will never put Sproles in the starting line.
Well, yeah, when they announce the starters on the bottom of the screen, it will never be Sproles. But Sproles had the most the most touches against the Patriots. He had the most touches.
DeMarco played like
And then I'm pretty sure he also had the most snaps. Who they play this past week? The Bills. I'm pretty sure he also had
And
either
they
the
won.
most. I know. That's what I'm saying. If they use this guy, I think they're dangerous if they make the playoffs.
So all right,
They're
so,
dangerous.
Giants are losing to Carolina. Are we all?
No.
See, oh
I think
god,
the Giants are gonna
here we
win.
go. Biased Giants fan.
I'm a big fan of history too. So you know what, Carolina doesn't impress me at all. I know they're 13-0. They're a great team. I think they're going to get eliminated. I think they had a better team last year and they barely beat the Cardinals at home in a playoff game. You could argue that they had a better team last year.
I'm the one that says that I think they're completely overrated. I don't. They're definitely not a 13-0 team. Maybe like 9-4 skill level. Like that's really what I think.
What are the games they almost lost this year? Against the Colts? And the Colts were in disarray when they played them.
The first 4 games of the season they almost lost. They almost lost to the Saints with what's his name as the starting quarterback.
Luke McCown. He's on that commercial.
Exactly. I mean, the Saints are the worst defense. I mean, after the Giants. So, if you look at Cam Newton when he plays, he's too comfortable. If you just put a little bit of pressure on him, I want to see how he reacts to it.
The problem is Giants can't do that.
That's
the
the
Giants,
thing.
they have no pass rush at all.
That's the kicker in this game. If you can make him move a little bit, even though he is a mobile quarterback and he can move, I just feel like
here's the problem. You saw the Monday night game, right?
Yeah.
Tannehill was running the pistol, and he looked good doing it.
Yeah.
So what's Cam going to do?
If Tannehill looks good running the pistol against the Giants, what is Cam Newton going to do? You know, you say Jonathan Stewart's out.
Cam Newton throws bullets. He throws the ball
best arm in the
80
NFL.
miles an hour. So put that. Cam Newton can tear up secondaries.
Cam Newton can win a powerlifting contest. I mean,
I know.
this guy's
He's a linebacker in the
absolutely
league.
insane.
So put the fact that Cam Newton can tear up any defense he wants because of how hard he throws. He's doing that against the Giants offense, who leave people wide open with 20 yards of separation, a.k.a. Uwana You guys are joking. But seriously, the only way the Giants defense, I wouldn't be surprised if Cam Newton threw for six touchdowns at least. Seriously, I wouldn't. No,
sets NFL records. Those for 8.
You're
runs
laughing.
for 2 and throws for 4.
You're laughing, but I'm being serious. He's the MVP of the league. He throws bullets, and you put that up against the Giants' defense. The Giants are not stopping Cam Newton. They may be able to stop the run. I don't think the receivers are a threat matchup-wise, but they are the threat because of Cam Newton, and he will beat the Giants' secondary single-handedly.
I just remember when we talked about the Giants going to the Patriots game, like how many weeks ago that was, like 4 or 5 weeks ago, and we were talking about how Tom Brady was going to throw for 6 touchdowns and I know the Giants historically play against it. They know they play Patriots, but and I don't think the Giants are going to win this game on Sunday, but
I think they will give the Panthers a run.
Maybe they can give the Panthers a game, and maybe if
I think they will
things
give
work
the
in their
Panthers
favor,
They're not going to get blown out.
No, they won't get blown out. I don't think they'll get blown out. They will not lose 38-0 like the Falcons did last week. No shot.
So all right. So
real quick, that kicker in that Patriots game though was Tom Brady isn't mobile. So when he was pressured, he'd just throw the ball away. Cam Newton's just gonna run around everyone. That's the thing.
All right. Before we go to break, do the Redskins beat Buffalo on Sunday?
Where's the game?
It's in Washington.
I say no. I think Buffalo's a good team. I just think they're getting unlucky. I don't know if they're going to play hard though. That's the problem because they're eliminated from the playoffs. Realistically,
Buffalo,
they have no shot. Yeah,
they're
eliminated.
We now had a lot of help.
They
need a lot of help.
The other teams, they're eliminated. Right. They know they're eliminated.
But they'll play for Sunday.
They won't lay down.
That's what I'm thinking. If they lay down, then the Redskins will win.
Sammy Watkins,
they won't lay down.
He's been stud as
and they won't lay down because it's Rex Ryan. Rex Ryan's not just going to let a team just go away. He's going to play until the end.
All right, so are we going to say Buffalo's beating Washington?
I don't know. Washington's good at home, and Kirk Cousins plays a lot better at home.
Washington is very good at home.
Defensively, Buffalo is better on the road than they are at home.
Yes.
When was the last time Kirk Cousins played a defense as good as he's about to face this week?
But their we were talking about the secondary is weak. Buffalo's secondary is weak.
Yeah, besides Gilmore, outside of Gilmore,
but Buffalo's secondary is weak, and the Redskins, no Deshaun Jackson. The Redskins do play. The Redskins play a lot better at home. And honestly, it depends what Kirk Cousins comes out. It depends how he could come out and play.
Who is
like
stopping Sammy Watkins though? I don't think anyone's stopping Sammy Watkins.
I'm not sold. I'm not sold on the Redskins defense, but I'm also Tyrod Taylor. He's not throwing the ball for 300 yards on them.
Who do you think is going to win? Skins or Buff? I say Buffalo.
Buffalo 31-28.
It's going to be.
I could see the Redskins winning. I could see both teams.
I actually changed my opinion. Did they win or lose their last home game? The Redskins.
The Redskins. I think they're undefeated at home.
That's what I'm saying. I actually think
they lost to Dallas.
But
they did lose.
They won, I think, 5 in a row before that. So I actually think they could win.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Washington in this game too.
All right, for Giants' sake, let's assume the worst, and we'll go with the Skins. Cardinals are beating the Eagles, right?
Cardinals have to beat the Eagles.
All right, Week 16. Do the Giants beat the Vikings?
Just for the sake of the argument.
What's for the sake of the argument? I'm going to say they somehow pull it out.
For the sake of the argument, just say yeah.
For the sake of the argument, they have to. They have to win a game, and in games where they have to win, they find a way to win somehow, some way.
Every game.
And if you're a Giant fan, especially if the Redskins win, if Buffalo beats Washington, I think you can afford the Redskins to win this game.
By the way, if it's an Eagles-Giants game, Week 17 for the division, I'm a Giants fan. I'm very afraid we lose that game because the last 3 times we played the Eagles, they've been all losses, and twice they've been blowouts. So I'm not very confident going. If they use Darren Sproles the way they've been using him, I'm very afraid.
All right, I don't agree with that at all because Mork tells me all the time that the players love Tom Coughlin, right? The loser, say if it comes down to Week 17, Giants, Eagles, winner of that game goes to the playoffs. Eagles players don't like Chip Kelly. That's a known fact.
So why do they still keep playing?
Well, that's
because they're in the race.
I think because
a couple weeks ago, the Eagles weren't in the race. They got back in it because the rest of the division stinks.
The Cowboys lost 7 straight games still in the race. Not one NFC East team was ever out of the race except Dallas.
Right.
You watch First Take, Skip Bayless. He still got like some sort of crazy, crazy chance. Well, he's also predicting that they beat the Jets this weekend. That's not happening, but I don't think that the Eagles would beat the Giants in a Week 17 matchup to go to the playoffs.
I don't think that the coach. All right, if you're a player and you're in Week 17 division it's a division title game. It's a title game.
I like Eli Manning more than I like Sam Bradford.
Well, yeah, I like Eli Manning more too, but I don't think who they like the coach. I think if you're a player, you're like, I want to be in the playoffs and I get to host a playoff game because I'm going 7-9, winning my division. You're going to be amped up regardless of who you like a coach you don't like.
No, Brandon. It goes by experience. Eli's been in this situation. What has Sam Bradford done? He's been on the IR looking in.
Play the Eagles.
Okay,
we've gotten blown out, so I'm not feeling confident at the moment.
I do. I do completely. When it comes down to a game, and this is what he was trying to say. Tom Coughlin isn't the only person that knows that Tom Coughlin's going to be out if they don't make the playoffs.
Oh, yeah.
His entire team does.
If the Giants lose their next 2 games, they are out.
You shouldn't need extra motivation to make the playoffs.
The Eagles' defense is bad. You realize the Eagles' defense is bad.
They're actually worse than the Giants statistically.
Yeah.
The Eagles' defense isn't. They take the ball away though.
Points per game.
They take the ball away, and they're superior on special teams because Darren Sproles.
If the Eagles' defense is so bad, why do they only allow 7 points to the 7th highest scoring offense in the league in the Giants?
Because the Giants are the most inconsistent team in NFL history.
Also, we scored 7 points on the first possession, so they basically shut us out.
Was that game more of the Giants playing badly? Or
playing badly.
I think that game was more of the Giants playing badly. That wasn't really the Eagles.
Okay, but they still shut them out for probably 50. We scored in the first drive, say 5 minutes. They shut us out for 55 minutes.
I think that's more on the Giants than the Eagles defense.
Why won't that Giants team show up again on?
Oh Jesus, Brandon.
Oh jeez. I mean. I think the Giants know that they need to pull one out. When the Giants know they need to pull it out, history repeats itself. They do.
Redskins 2 weeks ago had to win that game. Got blown.
But this game, Week 16, is a lot more important than that Redskins game. When their season is on the line, because assuming they are losing to Carolina, if they lose that game, they are eliminated. If they lost against Washington, they weren't eliminated. If they lost that game against Washington, they weren't eliminated. Assuming they lose to Carolina and then they lose to Minnesota, then they are eliminated. They know that they need to win that game. The Redskins game was one of those not must-wins, but should-wins. This is a must-win game. Giants usually, history repeats itself, somehow, some way, they win these must-win games. It happens every time with this team, most of the time with this team. The game against the Patriots, they were the first team that really showed that the Patriots were beatable. and then they lost their next 2 games after that. The Giants beat the Patriots twice in the Super Bowl. Every time the Giants play someone good, they somehow manage to pull something out of their you-know-whats, and they play well. Somehow, some way, it happens. I'm not saying the Giants are a threat. I'm not saying history will repeat itself, but that history is giving me the confidence. Do I think the Giants are going to make the playoffs? No. But heading into Week 16, I'm confident that they could win, and then I think they could beat Philly, and then depending on what the Redskins, that game won't even matter.
Mark, the Giants haven't made the playoffs in 5 years.
Yeah.
So you're talking about when it's a must-win game. So there hasn't been one must-win game in the last 5 years. They haven't been in the playoffs 5 years.
But this is my point. Like, those must-win games, they are eliminated from playoff contention by Week 12, Week 13.
So wouldn't Week 11, Week 10 be must-win games?
Yes, but
are you talking about must-win games late in the season?
Must-win games late in the season because the Giants could only do so much. If a must-win game is in Week 11, if the Giants have must-win games starting Week 12, then you need to win out, and you need every single team to lose every single game. It's almost impossible no matter what the Giants do. I remember the Giants missed the playoffs at 10-6. Week 17.
The Jets are going to miss the playoffs 10-6.
Okay. Welcome to the world. I think they played Washington Week 17, and they pulled out a thriller. They won Week 17 against the Redskins. A huge win for them, and then they needed Chicago to beat Green Bay. Chicago lost. I remember that like it was yesterday because Jay Cutler threw an interception with a minute left, and they were down 4 points. I remember that like it was yesterday. The Giants can pull out these games. I don't think they will make the playoffs. They do need a little bit of help. But if things go their way Week 16, if they win in Week 16,
and the Eagles winning against
they need. I think they can go 2-1 in these next 2 games. I think they can go 2-1, but then they need help. So it's that simple. They need help. Ryan Warwick, Scott Thompson, and a packed house here at WR 90.3 FM inside of Studio A. It's finally time for the updates.
All right, no Rampo updates today. Students are studying hard for finals, so good luck to everyone on finishing out the fall 2015 semester. But the winter meetings may be done in the MLB, but players are still being shopped around. Today, Todd Frazier moved to the Windy City and will join the White Sox in a 3-team deal. The Mets re-signed Bartolo Colon to a 1-year, $7 million deal, and they also re-signed Jerry Blevins. Now, Jerry Blevins put this on Twitter yesterday. He said, "Dear Santa, you can give my number 13 as Drupal Cabrera because he signed with the Mets first. I'll figure out what number to wear." So that was nice by Blevins. Big moves also happening in the NFL after Thomas Rawls broke his ankle and is out for the season. The Seahawks re-signed Christian Michael. Okay, so let's see what happens there against Cleveland. The Giants are also trying to get themselves in an advantage in the NFC East race as they release Brandon Merriweather and re-signed Barry Cofield. So that's a defensive pressure that's going to be needed against Cam Newton and the Panthers. And also Julian Edelman and Peyton Manning did practice today, but only Edelman really has a chance to play maybe this week. They're not looking for it to happen, though. It's probably going to be Week 16, if anything, but Peyton's still off, but he's trying to get back. In the NHL, Patty Kane, he snapped that 26-game point streak last night with a 3-0 loss, but congrats to him on bringing hockey back. I mean, that was a lot of fun to watch him just get an assist and do all that stuff, so... The Devils are also now 16-11-4 as they beat the Sabres 2-0 last night. The Rangers also won at the Garden last night, 4-2 over the Oilers. The Devils play the Panthers tomorrow, and the Rangers will travel to Minnesota to take on Zach Parise and the Wild. Ryan Mork and Scott Thompson and the rest of the crew here on WRPR 90.3 FM. Those are your Beast of the East updates. We'll be right back.
Hi, this is Ozzy Osbourne. For many years, you know I've had a drink problem, and I'm trying to battle that problem every single day. But one thing I don't drive my car when I'm drinking. I get someone to drive me. Do not drink and drive. It's the stupidest thing. If you drink, just don't drive. Not only are you going to hurt yourself, you may hurt some other person, and you wouldn't want that on your conscience, would you?
A public service announcement brought to you by the U.S. Department of Transportation, RAD, the National Association of Broadcasters, and the Ad Council.
Piece of the East, WRPR 90.3 FM. you know she's made $1 million alone off of this song?
That's it.
I think that's a lot for one song.
Nick Cannon still made more money.
Nick Cannon still made more money. Remember when you guys met Nick Cannon?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's
Oh,
great.
yeah.
That is
Brian didn't want to go to the supermarket.
I did not
finish again.
Nick Cannon was at the
The Pathmark.
Yeah, the whatever, the Pathmark over
He
here.
was shopping at Pathmark.
He's looking for Wild 'N Out girls.
No talent.
Brandon was like, yo, should I go up to him? I'm like, nah, don't bother.
And the lady said, you have, yeah, the lady said you have one chance to meet Nick Cannon right now, just do it. And I was like, you just gotta do it, I guess. He was really cool.
He'll come around one time. I'll get my chance.
Yeah, maybe.
15 minutes left in the show. Let's get into the Jets talk real quick, flat out. Jets make the playoffs, yes or no?
That's you, TJ.
No, because of the Jets.
There we go. George got up off of his seat.
Yeah, no, for that reason alone. The Jets are gonna miss the Jets are gonna miss the playoffs at 10-6, and it's gonna be because Tom Brady has repeatedly ruined my childhood. And Tom,
George
that is a good.
George said the other
every time.
George said the other day he was like, you are a Giant fan, a Yankee fan. Every year you have gone into the season saying that your team has a chance to win the division. He has never felt like that.
You never have a
except
chance
this year for the Mets.
No,
and he didn't even feel like that at the beginning.
I
of
didn't
the
mean
year.
the Mets. I literally just meant the Jets.
Yeah, right.
Every single year, the Patriots are locked to win the division, like
Locked.
they're going to be
Look
next year and the year after that.
Tom Brady's gonna play till he's 45.
Yeah,
He's
I'm
gonna
not
play.
even kidding.
He's gonna play until he's 45, and he
I
doesn't.
think he's going to play until he cannot play anymore. I don't care if he's
And there's no
47
sign.
years old.
There's no signs of him slowing down. The guy gets better every year.
I know.
The first. Well, I don't remember who did he throw the interception against. With his first interception of the season. I think
What,
it was
the Eagles?
I don't remember.
Oh, no.
I remember his first interception of the season wasn't even his fault. It hit off Edelman.
off of Edelman.
It was the close. He was.
Wasn't
I
that when
thought.
Edelman like broke his hand or something? Like
I thought Tom.
he did something to his hand.
I legitimately like. This might be because I'm a Jets fan and I just think Tom Brady is unbeatable, but I thought the Patriots were gonna go 16-0. I still think they would have if they didn't get injured, and I thought Tom
Agreed.
Brady was gonna go the entire year without throwing an interception. But it's, the Jets. Even if the Jets, because I think the Jets, you could book it. They're gonna beat Dallas this Saturday.
I agree.
This Saturday night, you're gonna see a lot of Fitzmagic, no Fitztragic on Saturday night.
Fitztragic,
Yeah, there's two.
Fitzmagic.
You got
There's
Fitzmagic
two.
and Fitztragic. He's two different guys.
Here's what the Jets have to do. I think they're going to beat Dallas. I think they're going to beat Buffalo. You can't write it down, but I think that's what's going to happen, and I think that's what is supposed to happen.
They need to play like the Giants right now. They need to play like they do have a hope, and hopefully, the Broncos beat the Steelers this week. And
the history the Giants have with just showing up against good teams, winning the games that they have to win. The Jets need something. I mean, it hasn't happened like that, and we're going to say history repeats itself. But the Jets need to think like that. They need to think in their heads that they have a chance to win. They do need a lot of help. They will most likely have to win out, and they will need the Steelers to lose a game. And I think the only chance of them losing is this week against the Broncos. Or, I would think the Chiefs are going to win out, but the only way I think the game that the Chiefs are going to lose, if they do lose, is against Oakland.
I thought you were going to say against Cleveland against Money Manziel.
No.
But just one thing before George speaks. You said about the history repeating itself. We've been talking about that. The last 4 times the Jets have been 8-5. They missed the playoffs.
Right.
So that's what you need to know about the Jets.
Brett Favre, they were 8-3 and missed the playoffs.
Yeah, that's terrible. Although that also counts to them being 8-5.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
exactly.
They missed the playoffs 8-3. Oh my God, Brett Favre
He hurt
was
his
a Jet.
shoulder.
How do you think the Giants were 11-1? Plaxico shoots himself. Giants were eliminated first round of the playoffs. Okay, the Giants were that was the best Giants team I've ever seen.
You know who that one game that we beat was in that year? The Panthers in overtime.
The Panthers. I remember that. That was for the 1 seed.
It was for the 1 seed. Panthers had the 2 seed.
The Giants had the 1.
Who played quarterback for the Panthers? Was it DeLone?
Jake DeLone.
It might.
Had to be DeLone.
Who was on that team?
2011. Was it the Panthers?
DeLone.
It had to be DeLone.
Yeah, it was DeLone.
Jake
Jake
DeLone.
DeLone.
That Giants team was stacked too. Steve Smith, Amani Toomer, Eli, a great O-line.
2011. Oh, no, 8.
No, 2008.
2012.
2008, you're right.
It was 2008. Oh, no, not.
It was after they won the Super Bowl. They won 11.
Yeah.
Jake Delhomme, Josh McCown, and Matt Moore were the backups.
Oh, so it was DeLone.
D'Angelo Williams and Jonathan Stewart were the 3rd and 4th strings. DJ Hackett, Dwayne Jarrett were their top 2.
Ew.
They had Mushin Muhammad. Oh no, they had Steve Smith also.
When Dwayne Remember when Dwayne Jarrett was supposed to be like the next?
They had Gary Barnidge. They had
Oh
Gary.
yeah, I had that was number 9 on USC, right?
Number 9.
No, he was 3, I think. No, he was 1. Wasn't he 1?
Who did I have? Did I have Dwayne Jarrett made that catch against Notre Dame, right? He
They
made
had-
that
they had
catch
John-
over the
they
middle
had
for the
John
touchdown.
Beasley.
And if you watch that, I know it's a little off, but if you watch that 30 for 30, he was basically blind in one eye when he made that catch too. He got hit in the eye, yeah, and he couldn't
Dwayne
see.
Jarrett. I did have a Dwayne Jarrett jersey. I also had Reggie Bush, my favorite college player of all time. But
Oh, me too.
that was a stud.
All right.
Anyway,
Is this season a success for the Jets
when they don't make the playoffs, yeah.
Yeah.
if they don't make the playoffs?
No,
Even
when they don't make the
Yeah.
playoffs.
Even if because that's just the negativity speaking from the Jets fan. Like you have
It's
no
not
faith,
even.
right?
I have no faith. I just look at it. I've done the things like this. There's no shot they're making the playoffs.
But
They're
the thing, it's not.
Johnny Manziel
It's not
has to
'cause
come
of
through
them.
for me.
It's not 'cause of them,
Johnny
but it is.
Manziel has to come through for me. That's what it is. Johnny Manziel. If there's a guy that is going to come through for me, it's going to be Johnny Manziel. He's going to beat, Alex Smith. To me, still a bum. I don't care. Alex Smith, let him.
That's what I said too.
Still,
yeah.
he's still Alex Smith. The Chiefs' offense is no powerhouse.
I don't think the Chiefs deserve a spot.
The Chiefs don't. Oh
Yeah.
my God! How
The
they-
Jets are better than
How
the-
they
way
what
better
are they on
than
a
the
7-game
Chiefs.
winning streak? The Chiefs, if they
don't play
which they
anyone.
should, the Chiefs should win out. They're going to be on a 10-game winning streak. They're going to be the hottest team in the NFL going to the playoffs, and they are not a threat to me at all. If they had Jamal Charles and all right, you could run the ball, you could play defense. They don't have Jamal Charles. Charkandrick West, Charkandrick West, good fantasy player, but really, how good is Charkandrick West?
Any back they plug into that system does.
Well, and yeah, Andy Reid, great offensive mind, way better offensive mind than Chip Kelly. But it's just Johnny Manziel has to beat the Chiefs in order for my Jets to go to the playoffs.
That's what I think too. I think there's a shot, but I don't like ESPN gave the Jets a 25% chance to make the playoffs. I think that's generous, to be honest.
Yeah,
I honestly think it's more like 15. Because realistically, they're going to go 2-1. Not saying they can't beat the Patriots, but they'll probably lose one of the 3 games. I'm not even saying the Patriots.
Even if they beat the Patriots, they're going they're going to lose to the Bills. That's how they are. That's how they are.
You have to assume
that's how they are.
And isn't it crazy? That's how you guys Jets fans. It's just because of what's happened in the past, just how you think. Like it's just like, we're gonna.
They
lose.
could also.
They'll lose to the Bills.
They could also be eliminated this week.
The game's at Buffalo.
Can the Jets be eliminated this week?
If they lose and the other 2 teams win?
I mean, not realistically, but yes.
Yeah.
They can be.
But you know what though? It's like we say it's not the Jets' fault that they don't have a shot making the playoffs, but it kind of is because
They
they
lost to
should
the
have
Raiders and the
beaten the
Bills.
Raiders, should have beaten Philly,
Should have beaten Philly.
should have beat the Texans. Like these are games that if you're gonna make the playoffs, you gotta win.
That's why the Jets. That's why they are the New York Jets, because the games that they should win, they don't.
They don't.
And it's
Never.
and the games like, oh my God, even if they beat New England, which I think in the beginning of the season, even in the beginning of the season, I think that I'm like when I go through the schedule every year, I put the Jets at 12-4. That's because I'm a Jets fan, and I put them at 12-4, 11-5. So when the beginning of the season, when the Jets were hot and they got off to their 4-1 start, I was like,
You said they were going
14-2. Yeah, I did.
Did I tell you that they were that they were losing to the Eagles?
I know, Mark. You cursed them. You cursed them like George
No,
cursed
I'm
Brandon
just
Cooks.
smarter than you.
No,
I'm
it's
just smarter than you.
It killed me that they lost to the Eagles. Like you can't lose the Jets. They can't lose to bum quarterback. Sam Bradford, bum quarterback. They lost. They're what? Yates. They lost to
Yates. They lost
The
to
Texans,
How
it was
do
the
they-
Texans and the
Jet-
Raiders were the really
Jets
bad
top 3
losses.
defense in the NFL. They lose to
Because
TJ Yates.
Hopkins burned
No,
Revis.
I was talking about this on the way up here with my dad. Whoever thinks that Darrelle Revis is now toast and he's no longer.
Oh no! I'm not saying he's bad.
You play. I don't. He's still to me. He's still the best corner in the NFL. When you play 1-on-1 against the other team's best receiver on every
going to
single
get
play,
beat. You're
you
going to
will
get
get beat. Darrelle Revis. I don't know if Josh Norman plays on the island. I don't know. I don't know if Darrelle Revis is on an island. I know Norman. I know Norman follows, but when I say on the island, I mean no safety help over the top. Revis doesn't have safety help ever.
Revis is the best at taking guys right out of the play.
Darrelle Revis to me still the best corner in football. Jets to me still top 3 defense in football. You can't run on the New York Jets. I don't know. You shouldn't be able to throw on them with. And I like the kid Marcus Williams a lot. He leads the Jets in interception. I like him.
He's banged up.
I know, but I like him a lot, and I like the Jets. I like the Jets secondary.
Just to get back to the original question, you asked if it was going to be a successful season for them if they don't make the playoffs. They could possibly go 10-6, which is a 6-game jump. Right. How can you say it's not successful? I mean, Jet fans, I know bottom line is they want the playoffs, but 6 wins, I didn't want to sign up for that.
And for a first year coach too.
I was just about to say that.
With Todd Bowles, definitely it will be a success. He goes 10-6. Even if you miss the playoffs, you can't. Like, you could fault them. There's games they should have won, but 10-6 is a good effort to not make the playoffs.
With Todd Bowles, and you have Ryan Fitzpatrick as your quarterback, and
who has been playing like a top
exactly. It's a success because
you might have found your quarterback for the next couple
exactly.
years. Another successful
they found
thing.
their quarterback,
And because your defense is producing like they were supposed to on paper, so that's a success there. And then your offense is producing too, so it's a complete success for them.
Now, 2 separate questions: what would their record be with Rex? What would their record be with Gino?
With the same, you're saying the same roster?
Same roster
They're
with Rex.
Same record.
Same
I
record.
don't think that.
I agree.
I don't think that Rex. I like Rex Ryan a lot.
I said this in the beginning. This is what Rex Ryan needed. He was
praying
praying for this team as a coach, and then he got out.
And then he got 5 years, $25 million.
Yeah. Now Izzy really messed Rex Ryan up because now Rex Ryan's no offensive guru, and neither is Todd Bowles. Chan Gailey is the offense coordinator for the Jets, and Fitzpatrick and him have a history, obviously, because he was the head coach in Buffalo. But Todd Bowles came out and said the other day. I was reading Manish Mehta, the guy the Jets beat writer. He said that Bowles. He said that Bowles wants to he wants Fitzpatrick to be his quarterback for next year. And as a Jets fan, I'm okay with that. To me, Ryan Fitzpatrick is. He's never going to beat you with his arm, but he is a legitimate dual threat. He can run the ball. Ryan Fitzpatrick, and he doesn't slide, but these guys will play for Ryan Fitzpatrick. He got knocked out in that. Where was that
Texans game?
Texans game. He got knocked out.
Do you remember that?
He couldn't even walk straight. But
he walked up to the ref.
He goes face to face with the ref like this and launches the football.
He didn't even. The guy didn't know where he was.
He had no idea.
But he didn't know where. But the guys, they will play for him. And we always talk about if you're going to pay a quarterback,
How are you going to pay him?
you have to say, can you win a Super Bowl with the quarterback that you have?
I think so.
Can the Jets win a Super Bowl with Ryan Fitzpatrick? I think so.
I actually think so.
I think so because
will they?
his supporting
Absolutely not. But
his supporting cast is very good for Fitzpatrick.
Brandon
Fitzpatrick
Marshall
has
and
the right people.
Brandon Marshall, Decker, two best. That's the best receiver tandem in the league. Outside
1-2.
Statistically, they are, but you could say Martavis Bryant, Antonio Brown. I'll buy that too. Or even if Peyton Manning was playing like Peyton Manning, then it's Sanders and Thomas. But
the tight ends on the Jets have 12 targets the entire
I don't even
season
think they have a
total.
tight end. Who's their tight end?
12. The entire
Kellen Davis?
all three tight ends have 12 targets total this season.
Kellen Davis is
Jason Marley's hurt, right? He towards
exactly.
outside. That's what I'm saying.
Jimmy Graham.
My dad thinks that Jimmy Graham in Seattle is the worst thing ever. Seattle's offense is actually picked it up a lot.
It was supposed to be great,
Shout
but
out
Jimmy
Doug
Graham
Baldwin.
really has not done much.
It's not Jimmy Graham's fault though.
That's true. It's not Jimmy Graham's fault. They just don't throw to tight ends. They had the 6th least targets for tight ends last year, I think. I don't know what the number is this year.
The Jets have to be dead.
The Jets have to be dead.
The Jets have to be. They don't play with a tight end. They don't even play with that.
Yeah.
They have like Quincy Enunwa.
He
kind
can
of
play
just
in
plays
the,
like he probably just like is
and
like
they throw to the running backs a lot.
kind of tight end receiver kind of thing. So, yeah.
But going back to what you said, I think if Geno Smith is the quarterback, I think they're going to finish 10-6 realistically. If he's the quarterback, I think 5-11.
Yeah.
If Geno was quarterback,
5-11. Yeah, maybe 4-12.
You told me the funny stat you told me was when the Jets are eliminated from the playoffs, Geno Smith turns into
he goes off.
He's the best. He has
quarterback in the
NFL.
He's the best.
Statistically,
he's the best quarterback.
Statistically, when the Jets are eliminated, Geno Smith is the best quarterback in the NFL.
His QBR you're talking about, right?
Yeah.
Geno Smith. QBR.
Geno Smith is terrible. In the words of the man George over here, guy should be off the roster.
Gosh. George said that was the funniest thing. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the last show of the semester. Scott and I just want to take this time to thank all of you who supported us for pretty much everything that we've done. We've had a lot of hard work over the last almost a year now. You know the whole story. The station was off the air. It took a really long time to get it back up here, and we did. We did games right here on WRPR. Now we're doing games on RyanPaulAthletics.com via the live video stream. So once again, we just want to thank you very much for all of the support.
No, it's been tons of fun. I mean, this is my first semester, and to do something like this with you, Ryan. Like I always said, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't because of you, because I had no clue that this school had my major at all. But also you guys too, Brandon and George and Mike. And
thanks a lot.
Coming in and helping us out.
Even though you might.
And TJ calling in every other show.
You guys coming in here might. Our focus might go awry when you guys come in here. Mike comes in here
they make it fun. They make it unique, and it's not like me and you talking the whole time. It's us having fun in here.
I always say it. Morg and Scott, you guys really inspire me to try to do what you guys are doing. Like you guys, I had this talk with my father. Like I want to do what you guys do because, you go out and you chase your dream, and that's the coolest thing in the world to me.
Yeah.
So.
Don't chase the paper, chase the dream. That's one of my favorite quotes.
Love it.
Baby.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are done for the semester. Ramapo students, best of luck on your finals. 24 quiet hours, so please be quiet.
We'll attempt to be quiet.
But we'll attempt. Scott and I actually have no work to do.
We don't. We're
the best.
Easiest major.
By the way, TJ, it's an added bonus. This is the easiest major.
Oh yeah, TJ, you got to do it. It's awesome.
If you can write, that's what you got to do.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are done for over a month. But Scott and I will be on RamapoAthletics.com for some men's and women's basketball over the break. So it is not goodbye. It is see you later. Thanks again.
Merry Christmas.
For everything. Have a great holiday. Have a great break. What is that? Shout out Chris Savaro.
31-28 Redskins. Dustin Hopkins kicks the field goal from 48.
Your mic's off. Ladies and gentlemen, it's not goodbye. You to see you later. So long. Take care. Happy holidays. Merry Christmas. Best of luck on your finals. Thanks again for supporting all of us. We'll talk to you soon.
It's the DRE. Dr. Dre.